set to go. My name is Trevor Parker. I write for Fangoria magazine. And we have a limited amount of time with this gentleman, so I'm not going to give you a long, labored introduction. If you really don't know who this is, go home, look at your DVD shelf, and remember the names: Michael Myers, R.J. McCready, Snake Plissken, Sutter Kane, all your favorites. Ladies and gentlemen, John Carpenter.
Everybody nice and warm in here?
Sticky, absolutely. All right, so I'd like just to kick it off. I think I speak for everybody in the room when I say we're all thrilled that you could make it down to the show. And how has your convention experience been so far?
Except for the weather, it's been great.
A little sticky, eh? And so you've been doing convention now for about 2 years. I mean, any kind of freaky stories or odd body parts that have been offered for signing, anything like that?
No, I don't get the odd body parts. I want them.
Awesome. Okay, so now your birth certificate, it says Carthage, New York, but I think we all know you are a Kentuckian.
That's right, Bowling Green, Kentucky.
If you have any stories about growing up in Kentucky, anything related to the area?
Well, I moved to Bowling Green when I was 5 years old, and my parents and I came from northern New York. We were Yankees, and we were completely out of place in the Jim Crow South of 1953. So I will say to you, everything that I learned about evil, I learned in that little town.
All right. Okay, so just to warm everything up and get a little bit loose, I'd like to play a little game with you if I could.
Hey. Okay.
Maybe it'll be fun, maybe not. We'll see. So you've recently come off your big screen sabbatical with The Ward, and since you've been sort of out of circulation, there have been a few trends that have come in the world of horror, and just either as a filmmaker or as a fan, I'll just name some of them off, and if you could just give us your opinion or no opinion at all. So the first thing I'd like to ask you about is 3D.
I was around for the first craze, and I loved it then, and not so much now.
Right on. Okay, how about torture-based horror? Also
not a fan. Not a fan. Thank you very much.
Now, how about Asian horror, the ghosts with the...
Some of them are good. Some of them are really good. I will say there's one trend in horror that I've noticed is that everybody now can make a horror movie. And everybody makes one. So it isn't special anymore. That's too bad. That I find sad. There's no magic anymore. All you guys can make horror films, and you should. But there's nothing special about it.
Okay, so further to that point of kind of homemade films, how do you feel about found footage movies and the shaky cam, that sort of thing?
Fine.
All right, now here's one that might be a little contentious. How do you feel about the illegal downloading of your movies and other filmmakers?
Well, that's taking money from my pocket. I don't like that too much. That's not good. I need money. I want money. Please send me money.
Right, so I mentioned The Ward. I just want to ask the crowd, anybody here seen The Ward? Anybody? Not yet. A few people in the back.
Huge release, wasn't it?
Downloaders. And that's it. I mean, I'm at the theater every weekend. I managed to see Survival of the Dead in the theater. I cannot find The Ward. I'm just wondering.
The Ward was, it's a special kind of distribution. It's a secret release. They figured, why advertise and tell you where it's playing when they can keep it a secret? And you will never get to see it. It's an unusual kind of strategy, but...
It's good. And the people in the back who did manage to catch it, did you download it? No, just kidding. Okay, so that's pretty much all the questions I have. I think we should, open it up to the floor. So, like I said, just come on up to the microphone in the center of the aisle. Don't be shy. Make a lineup. And you may want to not ask him to badmouth any of the remakes, because I've tried getting him to do that, and he's not letting him. So.
Okay, come
Okay,
back.
I had kind of a quick two-part question. The first one is, what actually inspired you to get into the genre? And then, what advice do you have for anybody that's actually looking to make a decent horror movie nowadays?
Going out of the building.
Well, I got in this business to make westerns, and I got typecast as a horror director after Halloween.
I'll get
So my dream was to become,
Come back out.
have a career in directing movies, and so I went where they wanted me to go. My advice to you is don't just try to get in the genre. Fall in love with cinema
Be up.
and storytelling cinematically, and let that be your first love. And don't just try genre things, and don't imitate anybody. Be original.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
How you doing, sir?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. It was a pleasure meeting you yesterday.
Nice to meet you.
I just want to ask you, besides Halloween, what is your other favorite film that you've done? Horror or sci-fi or whatever?
I have no favorites.
You have any favorites?
I can't look at any of them. I see all the mistakes. I'll see a glance of a movie I've directed on television and say, what is that shit? What was I doing? What was I thinking?
Well, I just want to say my two personal favorites are Escape from New York and The Thing.
Good man.
Mr. Carpenter, just wondering if, being from Bowling Green, if anything particular to Kentucky or the area that you drew on for any of your films that you wrote or directed?
Well,
Names
the
or-
street names. If you see some of my earlier films, I named streets and characters after people I went to high school with, and streets in the small town, and things like that.
Great, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
First of all, thanks for being here this weekend. It's been really cool.
Thank you.
You know, I know you're a big fan of westerns, and that's really clear in Assault on Precinct 13. And you mentioned earlier you're a fan of westerns. So a couple questions. One, who are some of your favorite western directors? And then two, do you have any plans or interested in making western of your own in the future? Because I think John Carpenter western would totally kick ass.
Well, to answer the second question, I'm right now working on a little gothic western. We'll see if we can get it set up. It's hard to sell westerns these days, meaning that it's hard to raise money because they're not real commercial. My favorite director of all time is Howard Hawks.
Right.
He's directed a bunch of westerns. John Ford is pretty good.
Yeah.
Bud Bedecker.
We
So the old timers.
Okay, I love it. What about Leone? You like Leone?
No, I love it.
All right.
Once Upon a Time in the West is a fabulous movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you very much.
You got it.
Thanks for coming, sir. And they're actually going to have You're the Thing down at the Kentucky Theater in Lexington in October.
Excellent.
Glad it's coming. I was wondering, I guess I've noticed that a lot of European and British DVD releases actually have a ton of supplements. I've enjoyed every commentary I've listened that you've done on a DVD release, but for Starman and for They Live, is there some reason they don't try to release all of that material that you can find overseas here? Or?
I don't know. I really don't know why they choose which movies to me to do a commentary on. Roddy Piper and I did a commentary on They Live for Europe only. Maybe the studios that own the films that are putting them out don't think it's worth it. I don't know.
Hopefully I've got the opportunity to listen to the one that you did with Jeff Bridges.
Demand. Go to the studios and demand they release my commentary. Demand it.
Thanks, sir.
You're welcome.
And just to carry that forward on your commentaries, I think you're probably one of the most technically oriented with regard to your commentaries of any director I've heard on DVDs.
Oh, thank you.
Remarkable skill set. And just to carry that forward, among some of the newer technologies that have started coming out, you know, digital instead of film, and they're talking about 48 frames per second and all that. Is there anything that you're hearing now that you think you could that would make a good marriage with the kind of vision that you have with that 70mm film. You seem to capture scenes so well in that 70mm frame, more than almost anybody out of Hollywood. And I wondered if there were any of those technologies that you really think could work with your style today.
I don't see why not. I love widescreen, so I'd like to shoot at widescreen. That doesn't matter if it's, to me, it doesn't matter if it's digital or film. I happen to personally love film that's shot through a Panavision lens. It's a magical deal. It's a big hunk of glass. I don't know if you know how cinemascope or Panavision works, but the glass squeezes the image. And when you project it, it unsqueezes it. So there's two lenses, two different lenses. And somewhere in that process, magic happens on screen. It's just unbelievable.
And just to follow up, you have some of the best lens flares that have ever been put on film, by the way.
Well, that used to be a mistake. But look, ever since the cinematic storytelling has not changed since the 1930s and 40s. It's still all the same. It's still one shot at a time. It's a camera crew, sound, actors, makeup. It's all basically the same. It's what you do with it. So the new tools, digital, we're using computers. They're all tools for you to work with.
I really enjoyed the episode you did for the Masters of Horror series, and I was very impressed with that whole series. I was just wanting to say if you had any interesting things to talk about working with Mick Garris and being involved in that, and if there were any of the other episodes that some of the other directors had done that really impressed you, and maybe why.
Oh, well, this all came out of, we used to get together for dinners, Masters of Horror dinners. A bunch of us would get together, insult each other, and tell dirty jokes. And Mick Garris came up with this genius idea of getting us all to work, basically for nothing. And we stupidly said yes, so up we go to Vancouver. We shoot these 1-hour episodes. They were a lot of fun to make. We still haven't gotten any money for it. I can't understand it. Everybody's rich but me. Everybody. Everybody's good. Everybody who works on it was good.
Hi.
How you doing?
Love you. You're awesome. Who has been your favorite actor or actress that you most enjoyed working with, and was it about their abilities as an actor or personally?
Well, I love a bunch of different actors that usually, when they make my job easy, I really like them. Kurt Russell, Sam Neill, Jeff Bridges, they all came with it. They all were ready to go every day. They knew exactly how to play their parts. They were incredibly talented. I just worked with a really talented actress, Amber Heard, a young actress, really, really talented. So, I suppose those would be my faves. You're welcome. Hey.
Hello, thank you so much for coming out.
Absolutely.
Great event. I hope you're enjoying the show. In 2005, I thought your episode of Masters of Horror was fantastic. It was probably the best horror movie made that year. I'm very much looking forward to the Lord. My question is, I'm a storyteller myself. I love how each movie you change up and jump to a different genre or a different subgenre. Like you didn't just stick with slashers after Halloween. You jumped to ghost stories, killer cars, all the way up to cosmic horror. And speaking of cosmic horror, In the Mouth of Madness and both your Masters of Horror, it seems to be the only subgenre that you've kind of revisited. Do you consciously try to skip from genre to genre or subgenre to subgenre with each project? And also, what is your biggest horror influence?